Jagare, so how do pujas and homas influence mental clarity and emotional balance? The sacred vibrations from pujas and homas cleanse the subtle energy channels or nadis, leading to improved mental clarity and emotional steadiness, essential for maintaining peaceful family dynamics. Could you explain the significance of mantra chanting in strengthening familial bonds? Mantras create vibrational harmony that aligns family members energetically. Chanting together fosters unity and collective peace, making it easier to face challenges with their shared strength. How does Seva enhance humility and reduce ego related conflicts in sibling relationships? Seva teaches selflessness, which directly counters ego driven behaviors that cause misunderstandings and rivalry among siblings. What lessons can be drawn from Mycroft, Sherlock, and Euros about acceptance and forgiveness within families? Their story highlights the power of unconditional acceptance and forgiveness as transformative forces, key elements emphasized in Vedic philosophy for healing and harmony. How do practices like Padma Sadhana and Shakti Kriya assist in emotional resilience? These practices strengthen the subtle body's energy flow, increase vitality, and stabilize emotions, helping individuals manage stress and emotional upheaval effectively. How important is daily discipline and spiritual practices for nurturing healthy relationships? Consistency builds inner stability and emotional maturity, which reflect outwardly in compassionate and respectful relationships, including among siblings. Could you share an anecdote where spiritual practice transformed a difficult sibling relationship? There was a case where two brothers, estranged for years, began attending satsangs and practicing Sudarshan Kriya together. Gradually, they overcame resentment, rediscovered mutual respect, and restored their bond, demonstrating the power of spiritual practices in real life healing. How does the concept of Trikal Sandhya, praying at three times of the day, influence emotional balance and family harmony? Trikal Sandhya helps align one's rhythm with the nature's cycles, promoting calmness and focus. When family members practice this together, it cultivates a shared sense of peace and mutual respect throughout the day. How can chanting shlokas help siblings understand their roles and responsibilities better? Shlokas embed a timeless wisdom about duty or dharma, compassion, and respect. Regular chanting keeps these values at the forefront of one's mind, guiding siblings to fulfill their roles with love and integrity. In the story of Euros, intelligence was both a blessing and a challenge. How can spiritual wisdom balance intellect and emotions? Spiritual wisdom teaches that true intelligence integrates heart and mind. Practices like meditation and mantra chanting bring emotional intelligence alongside cognitive sharpness, helping balance analytical skills with compassion. How does Sanyam sadhana of level 1 and level 2 support self control and patience in difficult family relationships? Sanyam sadhana cultivates discipline and the ability to manage impulses, which reduces reactive behaviors that often escalate conflicts within families. What role does Agni Karam have in removing negative energy between siblings? Agni Karam's fire ritual symbolically burns away resentment and past hurts, cleansing the family atmosphere and creating space for renewed harmony. Can you elaborate on how Upanayana marks a spiritual responsibility that affects family dynamics? Upanayana initiates a person into a life of learning and discipline, which includes respect for family and society. It sets the tone for mature, responsible behavior within relationships. How does Padma Sadhana's focus on breath and posture improve emotional regulation? The practice harmonizes the nervous system, lowering anxiety and promoting calmness, which is essential for handling emotional triggers in family interactions. How can Seva together strengthen sibling bonds similar to the protective love of Balram, Krishna, and Subhadra? Serving others together cultivates cooperation, empathy, and shared purpose, qualities that deepen siblings' bonds, just like the divine siblings are supported and uplifted each other. How do mantras like Gayatri Japa aid in fostering mutual respect among siblings? The Gayatri mantra invokes divine wisdom and light, which uplifts the consciousness and encourages respect, patience, and love within relationships. What's your advice for those struggling to reconcile with siblings despite deep hurt? Begin with forgiveness and small acts of kindness. Combine this with spiritual practices like meditation, mantra chanting, and seva to gradually dissolve barriers and rebuild trust. How can regular participation in satsang influence sibling relationships? Satsang nourishes the mind and heart with the positive vibrations and wisdom, helping siblings develop patience, understanding, and conditional love toward each other. Can you explain the transformative power of Shakti Kriya in handling emotional conflicts? Shakti Kriya energizes the body and mind, helping to release stored emotional tension and create space for forgiveness and compassion in relationships. How does meditation aid in cultivating forgiveness toward difficult family members? Meditation fosters self awareness and emotional clarity, allowing one to see beyond hurt and resentment. opening the heart to forgiveness and healing. In what ways do rituals like pujas and homas build a positive spiritual atmosphere at home? These rituals invoke divine presence and positive energies, reducing negativity and encouraging harmony and respect among family members. How can the practice of mantra chanting improve communication between siblings? Chanting mantras calms the mind and balances emotions, creating a more patient and understanding environment that improves communication and reduces misunderstandings. What lessons do we learn from the protective nature of Balaram and Krishna for our sibling relationships? Their story teaches us to protect, support, and stand up for each other, fostering a deep sense of loyalty and trust. How can Padma Sadhana be adapted for busy individuals seeking emotional balance? Even a short daily practice of Padma Sadhana helps regulate breath and emotions, providing calmness and resilience amid life's challenges. How does Seva help dissolve ego based conflicts in families? Seva shifts focus from I to we, encouraging humility and appreciation, which are key to resolving ego clashes and fostering unity. Can you share how Upanayana and Sandhya Vandanam contribute to lifelong discipline? These rites instill a sense of spiritual responsibility and daily mindfulness, supporting personal growth and respectful relationships throughout life. How can Sudarshan Kriya support mental clarity needed for healthy family interactions? Sudarshan Kriya clears mental fog and emotional turbulence, enhancing focus and compassion, which improves the quality of interactions within families. How can daily Gayatri Japa enhance one's ability to handle family challenges? Daily Gayatri Japa strengthens mental resilience and clarity, helping individuals approach family issues with calmness and wisdom rather than reactivity. How do you see the relationship between Mycroft, Sherlock, and Euros reflecting ancient siblings dynamics like Shanta and her brothers? Like Shanta and her brothers, these relationships highlight themes of protection, misunderstanding, and ultimately reunion through compassion and wisdom. How does the practice of Trikalsandhya instill a rhythm that benefits family harmony? Aligning with natural cycles through Trikalsandhya brings stability and mindfulness to daily life, reducing stress-induced conflicts at home. Can you explain how mantra chanting impacts the subtle energies related to family relationships? Mantras purify and harmonize subtle energies, reducing emotional blockages that can cause friction among family members. What role does meditation play in overcoming sibling rivalry? Meditation cultivates patience and self awareness, helping individuals recognize and transform jealousy or competition into understanding. How does Seva promote empathy, similar to the bond between Balaram, Krishna, and Subhadra? Through selfless service, siblings learn to care for each other beyond personal desires, nurturing a deep empathetic bond. How do pujas and humas act as tools for emotional cleansing? These rituals create sacred space that facilitates emotional release and renewal, helping families let go of past grievances. Can you illustrate how Shakti Kriya energizes and harmonizes family relationships? Shakti Kriya activates inner energy flow, clearing stagnant emotions and promoting vitality in interpersonal connections. How can the teachings from Euros' story inspire modern families facing communication gaps? Euros' story and journey shows the importance of openness, vulnerability, and healing, encouraging families to break silence and rebuild trust. What is the significance of Agni Karam in strengthening spiritual bonds among siblings? Agni Karam says fire symbolizes transformation and purification, helping siblings release negative emotions and renew their spiritual connection. How does Upanayana mark the beginning of self discipline that aids family unity? Upanayana instills values of discipline and respect that form the foundation for harmonious family relationships. How can Padma Sadhana be incorporated as a family practice? Practicing Padma Sadhana together fosters collective calm and shared spiritual growth, strengthening family bonds. What is the impact of Sandhya Vandanam on cultivating gratitude among siblings? Sandhya Vandanam encourages mindfulness and reverence, nurturing a grateful and respectful attitude within families. How does mantra chanting balance emotional ups and downs in family interactions? Regular chanting stabilizes mood fluctuations and promotes emotional equilibrium, essential for peaceful relationships. How do you recommend integrating spiritual practices into busy family lives? Start with small daily practices like breath awareness or mantra chanting, gradually building a routine that supports emotional and relation well being. What are some real life examples where these teachings transformed their sibling relationships? Many families have reported renewed closeness and peace after embracing meditation, seva, and satsang together, similar to the healing scene in Euros' story. How does Sudarshan Kriya help balance the intellectual and emotional aspects of sibling dynamics? By harmonizing breath and mind, Sudarshan Kriya integrates intellect with emotional awareness, fostering deeper understanding and connection. How important is forgiveness in applying lessons from Euros' story? Forgiveness is the cornerstone of healing. Without it, resentment blocks growth and harmony. Can you explain the role of silence and listening in strengthening sibling bonds? Silence through meditation develops active listening skills, allowing siblings to truly hear and empathize with one another. How do these ancient Vedic practices remain relevant in today's modern family challenges? The timeless principles of love, discipline, and spiritual connection transcend eras, offering practical tools for any family seeking peace and unity. How can the practice of Trikalsandhya improve daily family interactions? Trikalsandhya helps align our body and mind with the natural rhythms of the day, fostering patience and presence, which are vital for peaceful family communication. How does the story of Euros encourage embracing one's unique strengths and weaknesses within a family? Euros' story shows that acceptance of differences and focusing on individual strengths can transform conflict into complementary support. What role does the Gayatri Mantra play in building mental resilience in family life? Chanting Gayatri Mantra daily fortifies the mind against stress and negativity, helping family members stay calm and supportive. How can seva or selfless service be incorporated as a practice to heal sibling conflicts? Serving one another without expectation dissolves selfishness and opens hearts to reconciliation and cooperation. What are the benefits of Agni Karyam for emotional purification among siblings? Agni Karyam's sacred fire is symbolic of burning away anger and resentment, purifying the mind for clearer, more loving relationships. How do you relate the protective relationship of Balaram and Krishna to modern siblings bonds like Mycroft and Sherlock? Like Balaram and Krishna, Mycroft and Sherlock show protective instincts mixed with intellectual rivalry, highlighting the complexity of sibling love. In what way does meditation help siblings overcome misunderstandings? Meditation nurtures empathy and reduces reactive tendencies, creating space for constructive dialogue and understanding. How does mantra chanting contribute to calming heated emotions during family disputes? The vibrational power of mantra soothes the nervous system, lowering anger and fostering peace in tense moments. What lessons can families learn from the estrangement and eventual reconciliation of Euros with her brothers? The story teaches us that healing is always possible through patience, forgiveness, and honest communication. And so, how can Padma Sadhana be a tool for maintaining spiritual focus in hectic family life? Padma Sadhana brings centering and inner calm, enabling family members to respond rather than react to stress. How does Upanayam inspire a lifelong commitment to values that strengthen family ties? It marks the beginning of spiritual discipline, encouraging integrity and respect, which are foundations for strong family relationships. What is the role of silence as practiced in meditation in enhancing sibling communication? Silence allows for deep listening and reflection, reducing misunderstandings and encouraging compassionate responses. How does the ritual of Sandhya Vandanam nurture gratitude and humility in family life? Regular practice cultivates awareness of the divine in everyday life, fostering gratitude and humility toward each other. How do you suggest families balance intellectual differences like those between Sherlock and Mycroft through spiritual practices? Practices like meditation and pranayama harmonize the mental energies, encouraging respect and reducing rivalry. What practical steps can families take to incorporate these Vedic practices into their routine? Start with simple breath awareness exercises, add mantra chanting, and gradually introduce meditation and seva, making spirituality a shared family journey. How does Sudarshan Kriya help in resolving deep seated emotional blocks among siblings? It balances the autonomic nervous system, releasing stored stress and enabling emotional openness and healing. How do the lessons from Euros' story inspire patience and compassion in sibling relationships? They remind us that everyone carries unseen struggles, encouraging us to respond with empathy rather than judgment. How do pujas and homas provide a platform for collective family healing? These rituals invite positive energies and divine blessings, creating an atmosphere conducive to forgiveness and renewal. What is the significance of mantra chanting during times of family stress? Chanting restores inner balance and uplifts the spirit, helping individuals cope with tension and approach problems calmly. How does the seva cultivate a sense of unity and shared purpose among siblings? By serving together, siblings transcend individual differences and work towards common well being, strengthening bonds. Jai Gurudev.